That's all right. I would echo what Vince and Jeff just said, and that is, thanks to Rick and Dave for, this generous gift. And what I would tell you is, we're not aiming to have the best facility in the country. We're not trying to be Texas with $10,000 lockers. I don't think we're trying to do anything that's lavish or is out of this world. But you want to make a great first impression on the kids that you're recruiting. And I don't think it's a deciding factor, but I do think it is a first impression. And, quite honestly, when you walk in here, there's certain sides to the men's part of this practice facility that are dated. And I'm very appreciative, our staff is appreciative, and our players will be appreciative of the gift and the changes that we're going to see. But I wouldn't call any of them lavish or out of control. We don't have to have the best of the best, but we can't be inadequate at the same time.
What kind of upgrades did you have in mind, Chris, when you talked to the brothers?
Well,
just an example or two.
Well, I think, there were some, wall graphics that we had to replace that, had the old coach's shot on there. And I want the kids that we're recruiting to feel like that, I have a little ownership here and I'm not just renting. But, there's just a lot, there's a lot more of a modern look than we can have. We have some, antique posters on the wall with, dedicated lighting on each one. You look like you're in a 1985 movie theater. And it just is, it's time to change. And again, I don't think it's anything that a lot of the universities that we're competing against aren't in the same ballpark with. And I'm just really appreciative of their generosity to sort of make that happen. You're talking about anything from the look of the practice floor and practice inside the practice court area. You're talking about, our players' locker room, which is very small and, restrictive. You're talking about the coaching offices where a lot of times you bring a recruit and their family in there for the very first time. I have a Dunkin' Donuts coffee stain, which is my fault. Nobody else. It's mine. Right in front of the door. So they're just things that we have to get better at.
Chris, how important is the weight room and doing something with the weight room?
It's huge. We have a heavy emphasis on that. Andy could lift our players in a cave. He found a couple boulders. He would figure out exercises, and I'm serious when I say that. But kids that come in from high school, they've probably never really had a true weight room experience. They've never had a strength coach, and so a lot of times the bells and the whistles and just the functionality of the layout. Right now you can't do cardio and weightlifting at the same time and have one person sort of in charge of both because all the cardio machines are on the second floor and everything that you do from a weight room standpoint is on the bottom floor. So unless Kettler's cross-eyed or he can hang out in the middle of the stairwell, he can't really watch our guys do both.
Things were not very grandiose when we were recruited as Xavier. When did things start to change in that regard in terms of the court sizzle?
I don't think that's an athletics thing or a college athletics thing. I just think it's a sign of our world. That's why my kids have an iPhone 7th and 8th grade. I mean, it's just, people are spoiled. The kids that we recruit are spoiled.
In terms of when this trend changed in college,
I remember Coach Prosser when the Cintas Center got built, and they sort of put the the structure there over a several-month period of time, and the building was $40 million or whatever it was, and we were all complaining that there was no graphics on the walls, and we looked like we were at a rec center. And so that's, you get these companies that have done incredible things, mind-blowing things with being able to honor tradition, legacy, winning, former players. And the question was asked, like, how long before you have to change out stuff, because I think a lot of times, recruits, quite honestly, they're not going to know who Purvis Ellison was. Some of them in a couple of years, Tim, won't know who Donovan Mitchell is. They're very, 1 or 2 years removed. That's their thinking. So we have to be smart that we don't have to put things on the wall that we have to take down in a year or two. So being able to brand our building with that in mind is really, really important.
You see high tech playing a part in this?
I don't know.
Reality.
I just worry about underneath out of bounds plays and switch. So that's why we'll lean on the people that we'll lean on.
You want to talk about the game tomorrow?
Sure.
You'd like to?
Yes.
You mentioned after the game the other night that the lack of, or the inability to finish around the basket was driving you nuts. What can you do to improve that, and who's the best at doing it now?
Well, I think we can just continue to put our players in those positions in practice. You know, we can do drills, get the old pad out and, do contact layups and put our players in positions of, again, playing downhill. I thought previous couple games we were playing more on the perimeter and not necessarily getting in the lane. So now that we've made that commitment to do a better job like we did against Lipscomb, the second part of it is being able to finish in and around traffic. I think part of it's being stronger. I think part of it's concentration, and we need both. And then we have to drill it every single day.
Who's the best at it now, do you think?
Playing through contact, in my opinion, would probably be Dwayne Sutton. But even Dwayne missed a few that he got in the lane. And we don't expect guys to be perfect. Just want to be better.
Chris, you mentioned the turnovers after the last game. It's a trend you don't want to see keep going. Kent State has a pretty decent assist turnover ratio, so how even more important is that going to be in this game to take care of the basketball?
Played them a year ago when I was at Xavier, and they really, really get after you. I think we were in the bonus a year ago with 14 minutes left in the first half. So it sort of speaks to their aggressiveness, and that won't change tomorrow. So we have to use that against them. We have to be able to backdoor them. We have to be able to still get the ball reversed. We have to be able to play through contact, not necessarily at the rim, but just getting to the spot we want with a dribble, with a pass, so that we can, put them in foul trouble, or at least get us to the bonus. But playing through contact and handling their pressure is going to be a big key to the game tomorrow.
What about offensively, what they do offensively?
Play with a lot of freedom. They turn their defense, as I mentioned before, their turnovers that they're creating into offense. I think they have a 1-2 punch as good as any team that we've played all year with the two Jalens. Jalen Avery, who's from my hometown, Cincinnati, and played with his high school coach. He's got a phenomenal assist-turnover ratio. I mean, as good as it gets in college basketball. And then Jalen Walker's averaging 25 points a game through 4 or 5 games that he's played. So we know we have our hands full with their backcourt, and we're going to have to do a really good job of making sure they're playing in the half court, not in transition.
What signs of progress have you seen in Jordan just from when you got here in April to now?
Immense. You always want your players to be perfect, and it's not possible. But I've seen a change at least. Again, he's not all the way there, but a change in terms of his mindset that I felt like when we first got here, he valued offense and just tolerated defense. And I don't see that Jordan anymore. I feel like a great thing has happened with Jordan, and that he feels accountable to his teammates, not to his coach or his coaching staff who's trying to guide him, but he feels accountable to his teammates. And when you're consistently getting beat or not giving the effort that you should, and you start to feel a little guilty because of those guys that you're going to war with, that's the greatest motivating factor that I think is hitting him between the eyes, and it's been great to see.
Do you feel like he's that go-to guy for you guys now on offense?
If the other coach is watching, no. He's an elite level scorer. And I want him to take really good shots. And I said this the other day that it's a lot more difficult sometimes for your leading scorer who's highlighted and circled on the scouting report, and they know every play that's being run for him, than it is for maybe a guy coming off the bench that's averaging 4 points a game to get a good look. So it's that fine line of making sure he's confident, but at the same time not overconfident and not casual with the balls I've talked about for a long time with Jordan.
Are you pleased with how Corey has stayed healthy? I know he came in with a medical history. I know you guys wanted to make sure that he was good in January and February, but it seems like he's
really pleased. He's still he's not an everyday practice player. He takes more reps off than maybe anybody on the team, but you know, my concern was being able to have him each and every game for whatever role we needed him to be in. And, you know, knock on wood, through 10 games, so far so good. And, you know, in those moments where he's not physically practicing, he's out there talking. He's providing a voice. He's a really good leader. He's an incredible story. And so, you know, sometimes when a guy doesn't practice, they just sort of check out, and he doesn't do that, and that's a benefit to our team.
How do you understand the new net standard for ratings, and will that influence your schedule going forward?
You know, I think all those things, Tim, whether it's net, whether it's RPI, whether it's KP, Sagarin, like all of them are pretty similar. It's, you know, are you beating good teams, and are they playing good teams? And you know, certainly I think the net is favors when you go on the road. I think that's shown. But all that stuff is like, are you willing to play people? You know, fortunately for us, you have 18 this year, 20 next year, where it's taken care of. We're going to be the best conference in the country in college basketball. And then we're going to do our part. We're going to play UK every year. We're going to be in the Big Ten ACC Challenge every year. And when we play those guarantee games, we're going to play people that have a good chance to beat you. Lipscomb, Kent State. You know, we're not playing the teams that are going 2-27 and firing their coach every other year. And by doing that, whether it's net, RPI, I mean, they'll all be pretty much similar.
Were you a fan of the RPI? I mean, what did you think?
Depends what we were ranked.
Right. Yeah, where you were.
Well, I thought it was a way to measure like who's playing people, you know. And I think it was tough when I was at Xavier and we were in the Atlantic 10, because you'd beat a team that was maybe, you know, would win 6-7 games all year long, and you'd win at their place and you drop 15 spots. That's tough. But you know, when you're in a power conference, and again you go through the schedule that we're playing, you don't have those opportunities that, despite winning, drag you down. So I do think teams that play, you know, each other, especially on the road. You know, we're one of very few teams in the country. It's in the Power 5 league that's played 2 road games already, and it rewards that type of competitive attitude.
McCoy said that his favorite 90s show is Friends. Do you plan on pulling him aside and teaching him the ways of Seinfeld or educating him a little bit?
You know, I found out that people that like really enjoy Friends and they never watch Seinfeld, they can't ever gain a true appreciation, because the first episode or the first year of Seinfeld isn't great, and then people get lost by the time they get to the end. It's just sort of a character reveal in that first, you know, year of episodes. So I try to do that with my wife, because she's a big Friends fan. But if you've seen them both, which I have, then I think you're more than, yeah, it's not even close. You're more than able to have an objective feel.
Are you taking the kids to Mary Poppins this week?
No, I didn't even know about it. I didn't know about it. My Braden's got a concert tonight at 6:30, so Daddy will be there. Thank you.